There are some new details surrounding the next Avatar film, as Empire magazine has given us a new look at the film with images and interviews in the latest edition. We get director James Cameron talking about the trauma involved in the film, Varang, the Ash people, and also some filming details behind the post-production process. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing the new details for Avatar 3 and all the latest looks at the film. Before I get into it though, if you want to keep up to date on any of my content surrounding the Avatar sequels, then don't forget to support this upload by giving it a like rating and subscribing to the channel. But without further ado, let's dive into all the new updates surrounding Avatar 3. So the new edition of Empire magazine here in the UK has provided us with new images and interviews for James Cameron's highly anticipated film. The new images include new looks at the Ash people, primarily in that of their leader Varang, played by Oona Chaplin. We get a look at her full design as she leads her clan into battle, her having a bow and arrow standoff with Neytiri, and the remains of her clan's home tree, which is shown to be quite barren. Furthermore, there's a new look at David Flewless's Peylak of the Wind Trader clan, a stunning shot of Jake on his Ikran, and the younger characters seated on and around the Tulkun Paya Khan. There are further other shots of James Cameron and the actors filming, and I'm going to be showing them on screen throughout the interview descriptions in this video. So now that the intro is out of the way, let's get into the extended details and all of the most interesting things that were mentioned in this latest article. So according to the new article, Empire were invited to spend 2 days with director James Cameron and co at Avatar HQ, where they got an inside look on post-production for the latest film. In speaking about the editing and how the film is morally complex, Cameron said, "You've been telling the movie what to be, and this is where the movie tells you what it is. I was talking about this with Del Toro the other day, and I said, Guillermo, doesn't it feel like there's a certain point where the movie is being received? It's important to get out of the way." A few days prior, the film played to a test audience and went really well. They can be incredibly articulate about what's working for them, why it's working, and what pushed them over the line. We seem to have hit exactly the right tone in terms of intensity now. So Cameron seems confident about the new film, but for his plan of an Avatar 4 and Avatar 5 to come true, this one has to work, and it's clear that he's not taking anything for granted. The next part of the article focused on the visuals behind the film, with shots Empire saw being described as more vibrant and stunningly lifelike than ever before. A few times during VFX review, Cameron asked for a reference, which is footage of the actors performing a scene years ago back on the performance capture stage. That way, he can check exactly what they did on the day against the final result here. In discussing this, he said, "I think there's a point where the good work of the actors is not being acknowledged. It's seen as a second-tier approach to acting, when I think it's a more pure form than photographic acting. There's nothing sacred about a camera and a lens and a piece of film, but they act like it is. Performances in Avatar are not just 100% truthful to what the actors did, but 110% because the added tails and twitching ears accentuate the emotions. 2 HD cameras on a head rig capture every tiny nuance of the actors' expressions. And by now, the system and Cameron know the ins and outs of Sam Worthington and Zoe Saldana's facial detail. Empire said that all of this is evident in the final product, with ever-increasing fidelity as the tech improves. And the process, as Cameron shoots scenes with the cast well before working out the cinematography, lets him concentrate entirely on the performances. This is where the article moves on to Oona Chaplin's Varang and how both Cameron and Chaplin are excited for people to see the performance in the film. The Mangwan clan, also known as the Ash people, are set to take on a more adversarial position in the Avatar narrative. This shift is attributed to a tragedy that has deeply affected their relationship with Pandora's spiritual entity, Awa, leading to a more complex and nuanced perspective on their beliefs and motivations. Oona Chaplin says they have a bunch of unresolved trauma. They got hit by a natural disaster, and what Varang did was say, well, F Awa. Where the Omaticaya and Metkayina both believe deeply in the interconnectedness of Pandora's ecosystem, Varang has led the Mangwan down another path. She basically goes towards a different power and tries to harness that, and in doing so, it kind of raises her people out of misery. It's easy to fall into the villain mentality, but actually she's the hero of her people, because she saved them out of misery and starvation and begging. Cameron further noted something that I picked out in my trailer breakdown the other week, in that the Ash people leader has a taste for RDA weaponry. He also said that she's up there with the very best villains in his filmography. The director said, in the casting process, she was up against two actresses that I really admired. If I told you their names, you'd say, well, cast her. But there was something about Oona. She was in many ways my lowest maintenance person. She just took care of her own performance, and I didn't want to mess with it, and she brought a whole other layer to it. There was also a mention of Peylak in the interview, as the third film in the saga sees David Flewless enter James Cameron's epic sci-fi universe as the leader of the Wind Traders. Their jellyfish-like giant ship creatures can be seen extensively in the teaser trailer and in a few new images in the Empire article. Cameron tells Empire, Peylak and the Wind Traders make their grand entrance here, but they'll have a bigger part to play as the story continues. They're going to be throughout the cycle of Avatar 3, 4 and 5. They're still 100% Na'vi, but they're not place specific, which is different because most indigenous people are very rooted in their sense of place. Peylak is here for the long run, extending far beyond the events of Fire and Ash. It was the same thing with Kate Winslet and Cliff Curtis's characters in The Way of Water, Ronal and Tonawari. You're gonna want to wait for all of Peylak, but it is satisfying. In reference to this, he said, "The Godfather movies had a big impact on me, and I remember that I really wanted to go on that epic novelistic journey of those characters. Someone said to me once, and it kind of resonated, it's fantasy, but it has a level of procedural detail that makes me believe what's happening. We only see a glimpse of it, but it feels like a glimpse through a keyhole of a much greater reality that's persistent and ongoing. That's the feeling we wanted to create, and Peylak is an element within that." When it comes to all the other characters and focus of Fire and Ash, the director said that tough emotions are at the core of the film. Everybody in this movie is reacting from a place of trauma. Jake's processing the death of his son, Loak is processing the death of his brother, and his own guilt around that. I think if you're authentic about life and emotion and relationships, it doesn't matter how crazy your world building is. So the emotional turmoil experienced by the characters poses a significant risk to a central element of the Avatar narrative, specifically the bond shared between Jake and Neytiri. Actor Sam Worthington added, "Because of Netayam's death, there is now a division in that relationship." That's a great design by Jim, in that how do you split apart the perfect love story? Jake and Neytiri share this painful wound, but they can't seem to heal each other. So they kind of split not because they want to, but because they're just trying to survive within themselves. Jake heads back to battle, and Neytiri kind of closes down. Empire further note that Cameron's aim is to make people cry with Avatar 3, and the director added to this that there's a scene he can't really talk about because it's rough. He says, "It makes me cry every time I watch the film, and I can't believe I'm crying at my own damn movie. But if I'm not in tune with my film, then I've got no business being here." Following all this, Cameron reveals something quite unexpected, and that is that eventually he hopes to create an animated anthology series set in the world of Avatar. He said, "Look, I want to do an animated anthology series that's essentially in the world, but stories that you wouldn't have expected from that world. There might even be an animated feature in there, and it might be a feature for streaming or a theatrical one. You know, a backstory on characters and tangential stuff that happened off camera within the movies. Who first landed on Pandora, the first expedition? You could go anywhere you want with it, and a good early example that I compare this to is the Animatrix, where they went afield in the Matrix world. These are all great examples for how we can add texture and baroque detail to the world of Avatar. It's early days on the idea for now, and we haven't done much with that yet. We're still gathering our stories and that sort of thing, and I've got to find the filmmakers and animators that want to do it." Moving on, despite online rumours, the director further revealed that he has no plans to hand the next two Avatar movies, if they do get made, to another filmmaker. He says, "The cast have read 95% of the scripts for Avatar 4 and 5. What they have not been allowed to read are the final scenes of the saga. Only John Lando and I know the ending." Now, of course, Cameron's producer John Lando tragically passed away last July, and Empire said that the director still occasionally refers to him in the present tense, and Avatar HQ has made sure his spirit lives on. Producer Bridget York said, "His name is still everywhere, it's on the call sheets, it's on his office, and we still call it John's office. So he's not going anywhere." Cameron also said that the tears were flowing from the cast when John died, and it hit everybody pretty hard. "We worked together for 32 years, and the thing about John was that he always had an opinion, he never pressed it, and never sulked if I didn't agree. He and I were just great partners." So it's clear that he views John Lando as irreplaceable. However, one of the individuals he has promoted to fill that gap is John's son Jamie, who has been a member of the Avatar family for quite some time. As a producer, he works alongside Cameron, managing everything from merchandise to the virtual camera stage. As a seasoned participant in acting classes, Lando will also appear in Fire and Ash in 2 roles, both as a human weapons officer and as a Na'vi wind trader. So they are paying a lot of respect to the legendary producer, and Cameron seems to be fueled by his passing in the making of this new Avatar film. Based on Cameron's history with Avatar, the new trailer, and this new article, I think it's very clear that the filmmaker is looking to elevate the franchise with each installment. And with this one, alongside the visuals, he's aiming to push things forward with his storytelling and the characters. As always, I wouldn't bet against James Cameron, and everything we are seeing and hearing demonstrates the extreme effort that he and his crew have gone to reignite excitement in a fresh new way. But that was my video discussing the latest Avatar 3 interviews and images from the most recent edition of Empire magazine. We'll have to see what James Cameron and his creative team cook up with the new film, and I think there's a lot of potential with all the new characters and plot elements being introduced to really elevate the saga beyond what we've already seen. The recent trailer was a perfect way to kickstart the marketing for the film, and this article by Empire only adds to the excitement surrounding it. But what do you think towards all the new images and details, and are you excited for Avatar Fire and Ash releasing later this year? Let me know down below in the comment section. For much more videos and news on James Cameron's Avatar universe, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like rating and follow me on social media via the links in the description. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.